Hi, I'm Sarah. If you've been following along, you'll know that I purchased an E250 Ford van to renovate and build out with the goal of traveling around the U.S. In my last couple of videos, I demoed the inside, removing the seats and panels, and then prepped the interior by sealing, sanding, and painting. Now I'm ready to move on to the next step, floor. Hey guys, welcome back. So for my first step of this video is to plan out the floor, measure what I need, figure out what's gonna go where before I go out and buy everything. If you recall from one of my last videos, the goal was to take those metal beams that are in the middle of the floor off. That didn't happen, so the new plan, I'm going to put the plywood on top of those, which gives it that support. We still need something to secure it too, so I have to have a couple of wood studs along the floor to actually secure it. So I'm going to figure out how much plywood I need, where those seams going to be, where I need the studs at. So my van is about 11 foot, a little over 11 foot long, 6 foot wide, and sheetrock comes 4 by 8, which means I'm going to need 3 sheets of plywood to cover the floor. So the length going back towards the van is going to be 4 foot. So I'm going to go find something around my house that's 4 foot so I can picture out where those seams are going to be, where the studs are going to have to go, and hopefully it'll make a lot more sense. I have my marker, some painter's tape, and my 4 foot wood piece that I'm going to use to estimate where the start and end of my plywood is going to go. Okay, so I have all of the plywood pieces mapped out on where they're going to start and end on the floor, and now I can figure out where the studs are going to go. Okay, so the last time I was working on my van, I finished all of the measurements. I did an extravagant floor plan where the studs were going to go, where the plywood was going to stop. So after watching a couple of YouTube videos on how other people did their subfloors, I realized I was not doing it like most. Last weekend I went to Home Depot and shopped for some plywood and, most importantly, the floor insulation. And I also ordered some fat mat sound deadener about a week ago, and that finally came in. So that's actually step 1. So I'm going to go head outside, clean up the van floor again. Let's get started. I've been a little disappointed with the company. My package that I got is supposed to come with a roller tool, the knife cutter, it's supposed to come with instructions, and it's supposed to come with some decal. So I just called the number and left a message. Kind of disappointing to not get everything that was supposed to come with my order, since I don't have the things I need and they're not going to get here in the next 30-40 minutes. It's just so annoying. Okay. Change of plans. What I'm gonna do, I have my cardboard, so I'm gonna start doing the layout. Oh no. I broke a nail! Look at it. It's right here. My nail. First casualty. Actually, it's probably not the first. Okay, be right back. Gotta go fix this. Okay, I'm back. My nail's fixed. Took it off my sweatshirt because it's hard work breaking out these boxes. Okay, where were we? This is not for the weak, let me tell you. Trent came and gave me the sheetrock cutter to start cutting the cardboard because I've been at this for a long time and I've gotten nowhere. So he's like, it's very sharp, be careful. So what do? I cut myself. With this? No. With the cardboard, I got 2 giant paper cuts, cardboard cuts on my finger. It's coming along slowly, very slowly, horribly slowly. So there you have it. That's my update. I didn't think it would take me all day, but it has nearly taken me all day to cut cardboard. But yeah, it's been very productive. Hopefully this template I've created is going to actually help me when I go to do my installation, and then once I start my plywood, and hopefully I'll have a finished floor soon enough. Today I'm going to cut the studs where they're supposed to go. I've changed it up a bit, and I'm only doing the studs in the front, the back, where the plywood seams are going to meet, and then along the door frame. I have 1x2s for the front, the back, and the door frame, and then I have 3x1s for where those seams are going to meet for the plywood. I've changed up how I was doing the plywood a little. So I was going to have the full width, the 4 foot, 4 foot, and then about a half. And so that second seam where it was going to meet up, it's kind of on like a wobbly part of the van floor. So I don't think the liquid nails is going to stick as good. So instead of doing the full width, and then the half, I'm going to do the full width in the front, the full width in the back, and then only half in the middle.
Life is a marathon, a journey that we're always on. To the floor, hit the road, see everything under the sun. Whoa. Keep on running, pick up the
Over the week I reached out to Fat Matt, the people I ordered my sound deadener from, and I was like, hey, nothing came in the package I was supposed to get other than the Fat Mat itself. The person said that they were going to send me the rest of the stuff that was supposed to be in the package. So hopefully that'll be coming in the mail soon. So now that I have my floor studs where they're supposed to be, what they're going to look like, I'm going to take my cardboard layout back out, resize it to adjust for the studs. I don't know how to do this because the insulation is going to go in between the studs, but the plywood's going to go over the studs. So what did I make the layout for is the real question. I don't know. As beautiful as my cardboard layout was, I don't think it's it. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm probably going to end up using the pieces that like actually show the curve. Other than that, I don't think it's going to be a simple take out the cardboard, trace it, and it's a perfect fit type thing. I think this piece up here is going to be the easiest. We'll see. So I guess I'll try to get started with that and see how it works out, but I don't know. First piece cut, I did it a little wider than it needed to be in order to account for the little lip right here. So I'm gonna have to cut the whole thing again pretty much. Good news is the length is perfect. Now I just have to notch out a spot for this beam. Y'all, I am literally the worst at construction. My brain just doesn't think the way it's supposed to. I just cut out this so it would fit into where the little bar is. Look at what I did. I cut it perfectly, like oppositely perfectly. What is that? Why did I do that? I was so happy too because I cut it so easily. After I cut it, I'm like trying to slide it in. I'm like, what's going on? I hate myself right now. This is the first one too, so hopefully it's a lesson learned. But okay, on this note of a mess, I'm gonna go inside, make myself a frozen pizza, get all the energies I need, brain juice, brain power, whatever it is that I'm currently lacking. Okay, so yesterday's pizza lunch break turned into a pizza lunch break plus a 2-hour nap, and then by the time I woke up it was kind of late. So today I'm going to finish the insulation. I have a jigsaw that I'm going to use to cut out the insulation because that box cutter sheetrock knife was not working. It was not easy at all. So today I'm going to be using the jigsaw. Hopefully I don't make any more mistakes and we can get this done. Okay, so far that's really easy. I'm getting insulation pieces everywhere. So I'm gonna go get the shop vac so I can clean this as I'm cutting it. So I'm verifying for the 100th time where 4-foot plywood mark is gonna end over here, where I have to put the stud, and where I'll have to fit the insulation within. I'm covered in this stuff. The second piece went so much more smoothly. It fits perfect, but it is a unique cut, so I'm not finished yet. I'm going to go with the cardboard cutout I made. I think it's gonna fit. Fingers crossed, right? That's all you can do. Okay, it's not bad. At first I thought I did it opposite again. I kind of killed it almost. So I took my second sheet of foam board out and I'm gonna start doing the back. I took some measurements. One of them is 7 3/4 of an inch, but just a smidge less. So you can see that I'm not a construction person at all. My stepdad gets so mad at me. I always tell him, oh, it's just a smidge more, a smidge less. But hey, what works, works, and we'll see if mine works. Okay, so I've semi-finished the insulation. I've cut all the major pieces. The only pieces left are going to be those little nooks. I've cut all the studs, not gluing them down yet, not gluing down the insulation, but I think this warrants at least half a check. Cut the studs, and I've cut the insulation. Alright, today is a good day to lay some sound deadener. So I finally got the rest of the package in the mail from FatMat. The other day after work, I was able to cut some strips and some squares that are going to be laid out onto the floor. I'm going to go ahead and clean some up a bit, start laying some down. I just finished my first section. I did the 5 strips in the front, and you can already tell the difference in the sound it makes. The piece without the sound deadener, whenever you hit it, has more of a tinging sound, and the piece that is completed with the sound deadener is more of like a deep thud. Once the van floor is complete with that, hopefully that's going to minimize a lot of noise once I'm on the road. It has been a long day, to say the least, a long day of cutting and sweeping and cleaning and heating and applying. But since I officially laid out all the sound deadener for the floor, I gotta check something off of my list. Sound deadener. Alright, the goal for today is to glue the studs onto the van floor. I'll be having Trent help me to make sure everything's level and putting weight on top of them. We've already glued a couple. We started with the first one, making sure that one was level with the bar. We glued it all the way across the width of the van, clamped it to the bar to make sure it was flush with it, and then added weight to make sure it was compressed down as much as possible. Then we did the second stud that goes along the full length of the van while outlining the door frame as well. That one was a little bit more tricky because it was a little uneven, so we really had to add a lot of weight and make sure that it was touching on the surface. For the stud all the way in the back, it was a little more complicated because on the sides of the van floor it kind of dips down. So right now we added that extra height, and then we can add those strips on top to where it's actually going to secure to, and then add that final stud in the back. And so that's where we leave off right now, waiting for those last 2 pieces to set before we start adding those extra strips on top of it. Alright, so today's been a productive day so far. So throughout the past work week, I was able to take a few breaks, lay all the studs out, make sure they were all dried, cured, everything sturdy. This morning, Trent and I were able to go and cut off the length of all the plywood, so those are lengthwise ready to go. I'm going to go ahead, take out all my insulation pieces again, make sure they fit how they're supposed to now that the studs are down and permanent. And then once that's ready, go ahead and start tracing out the special cuts from the insulation to the plywood and start cutting those. And that reminds me, since I did finish all the studs, I can mark something off of my list. Okay, so I just traced out the layout of the first piece of plywood. This one only has a few little notches. I used the insulation as a template since I already had that done. I'm about to go cut it now. Okay, I officially cut my first piece. We're gonna see how it fits. I'm so nervous. Fingers crossed. Hold on. and I have to like hover. Now go. I did not do this so perfect! Oh my gosh! Okay, me and my brother Luke tried to fit the end piece of the plywood. Almost perfect, but not perfect enough, so I'm going to do an extra cut and hopefully it'll fit then. Shimmy, maybe can we lift it up a little more? Oh.
Got it.
We did it! Okay, my last piece of not my last piece, but the end piece of plywood fits a little too perfect. I might need to shave some down, but otherwise it fits and I'm so happy. Alright, so it's the end of my work day. I finished the front piece of plywood and the back piece of plywood. I still have the middle to go, but tomorrow I'm going to go ahead, lay out the insulation, trim up where needed, and glue it down to the floor. But until then, I'm done. Alright, I spent the first half of my day trimming up all the insulation and making sure it fit in between all the studs, and it was good to go. So I'm going to go ahead, take all the insulation back out, give it one more good clean and vacuum, and then start applying the insulation. I just had my first screw up of the day. As I was spraying the insulation side that needed to be adhered to the floor, as I put it on, I realized I sprayed the wrong side. So I placed my weights on the board. Hopefully I can get them up without them sticking. It's a mess. Alright, I just glued all of the insulation pieces down onto the floor. I used an adhesive spray, and everything's currently being weighted down right now until it dries. All that's left is just a couple of little nooks, and then I'll be finished. But I'm taking a break right now, going right on the boat, and get some lunch. So I'll be back soon. Alright, today hopefully I'll be finishing my floor. Earlier I was able to finish my insulation. I used a reflective thermal insulation tape to tape off the seams of the insulation, and I was able to check that off of my list. And then Trin helped me screw the studs into the van floor to make them a tad more secure, and now I will be putting my insulation in, using glue for that, the same glue I used for the studs, and then screwing that in as well. I'll push.
That goes in, and this is
Watch all the wires, please.
Yeah, it's almost there. That's what we did.
Yes, that's what we did. Oh, goodness. Okay, I'm ready.
It's not safety glasses. Just go. It looks so cute.
If you can see behind me, we have plywood piece front and plywood piece back done, screwed into the studs, ready to go. For the middle piece, I just measured it, got the skill saw off, chopped off the length of it, and then got the jigsaw out to cut out the piece for the wheelbases. let's see if it fits on the first try. I think I have to trim it more.
Yeah, you gotta trim it here.
Alright, we just fit the second piece in. It's a little over. That was pretty good because I just traced it by measurements. I didn't have a template or anything. So I just have to shave a little bit off where the wheelbase was in order to get the full length in there, and we should be good to go. Alright, I just cut it with the jigsaw again. Take 2 of the middle piece. Okay, now
Shimmy, and then
damn! Okay, take 3. Take 4. This is gonna be the last one.
there you go.
We did it. Okay, how's this one? Damn, we did it. Trent can't tell me shit. Okay, I officially have all of the plywood down, screwed down, secured. It's a great feeling, especially with how hard today has been. All of the plywood is flush with each other, so that means it's all level, everything's secure. That's about it, and I know I haven't finished the floor. I haven't got the final floor, but I think I'm going to wrap it for this video. I can't wait to see what my van is going to look like. I'm going to be figuring out what the layout's going to look like next. Make my first design piece on what floor I want and install that. But I'm definitely wrapping it right now. So I will see you guys next video. Better luck next time. I thought it was going to be easy, fun, even. No, not at all. Not at all. I had to add
Staring out the window, reaching for a North Star, waiting just to wake up from this nightmare where you could be right back in my arms, dancing to the limbo, stuck here in the middle. You tell me that